Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Um, you may notice something different in this video compared to, previous videos. But let's not talk about that now. Anyway, yeah, it's Tag Tuesday. It's Tuesday here. And Tag Tuesday is kind of like a tradition on BookTube at this point, and one that I've not participated quite a lot in before, but let's rectify that with this one. This is reader profile tag, and I was tagged by David Novak Reads Poetry. I was a little bit confused about what the title is. Is it a reader profile tag or reader's profile tag? Both of them could probably work, grammatically, thematically, but but yeah, basically this video is just a chance for me to talk more about myself. And if you're new here to my channel, I suppose this is a video for you to get to know me better. If you have known me for a while, then you can know me better. Yeah. Anyway, there are a few questions, so I'll be answering these questions honestly and truthfully. Oh my gosh, the cat. Anyway, yeah. The first one: what for you makes a good book? The cat keeps dropping stuff. Yeah, number one, what makes a good book for you? And I would say, for this question, I'm not going to try and say what makes a good book objectively, but rather what makes a good book in my subjective opinion. So for me personally, I like it when a book is written in a way that is not dry, and I would say, okay, dryness is something that is kind of subjective. Like, one could read a textbook and say that it is dry. But I also think that there are textbooks that are written in a way that is engaging. So, there's that. With fiction, which is something that I usually read, which consists of, which comprise 90% of my reading diet, I would definitely, of course, expect a fiction work that is written in an engaging way, with engaging prose, playing with the language, playing with basically every element of the book, knowing how to engage and capture your attention. And for nonfiction, I would definitely love it when the writing itself is also engaging. It is lively. It actively captures your attention, similar to how an engaging fiction would do. So how would a writing can be done in an engaging way? For me, the most important thing is tone. I love it when the tone is, well, not necessarily original, but the tone has to be individual. It has to be unique. It has to work with the material that is trying to convey. It feels appropriate, or even if it's not conventionally appropriate, it is fresh. It is interesting. But most importantly, it is consistent. A strange thing about tone is that, okay, on one hand, one of the pitfalls of tone would be like it could be boring. There's no rhythm in the writing, or it could be a mishmash of different kinds of tones, which is again strange, and it is distracting. So to me, tone is always going to be the number one criteria that allows the book to be to hook me. Right? But then again, of course, something like tone is also quite subjective, and definitely I am interested to hear what you guys think. What makes a good book for you? Now, number 2, what are you currently reading? So I am just going to casually mention 5 books that I'm currently reading right now. I'm reading Jane Smiley's Moo. I'm reading The Leopard by Giuseppe Tomasi de Lampedusa. This is originally in Italian, translated into English by Archibald Colquhoun. A short novel by Babitz. This is called LA Woman. Another novel by Xinran. This is called Miss Chopsticks, originally in Chinese, translated by Esther Tyldesley into English. And last but not least, a short story collection by Richard Yates. This is 11 Kinds of Loneliness. So those are all of the books that I'm currently reading right now. Number 3, what's the last book you didn't finish and why? So when it comes to not finishing, right now I sort of separate the books that I so-called did not finish into 2 categories. One would be books that I did not finish because of whatever external reasons, and I couldn't enjoy them as much as I wanted to. For example, I've had 3 books that I decided to not continue because I started those books more than a year ago, and then I was reading those books, and I felt that those books were quite engaging, very interesting books. But for some reason, I couldn't continue because of whatever that was going on in real life at the time. I was busy, and so I couldn't continue with those books. So those books are, something that I would call my, I'm not sure what the adjectives I would assign to this trio. The elusive trio, perhaps, I don't know. The first one would be Toni Morrison's Beloved. I really love the prose in this book. I really love the idea, the story, the characters, the writing. Oh my gosh, this book is wonderful. But I've read only up until 60%, and I felt that it was quite unfair for me to continue forcing myself to power through this book when I think at that time I was going to begin my studies. And so I had a lot of things going on at the time, and if I were to just simply power through this book with all of those happening outside, I just didn't think I could appreciate this book for its good writing. And I really do think that this book has really wonderful writing that you have to really slowly read and really slowly appreciate. So what my plan is, I am going to hold off reading this book, maybe up until the time that, which I finally forget what happened in this book. Then I begin from the start, and then I'll read again, so it'll be kind of like a partial rereading, and just kind of appreciate the writing again. Besides, I could always read other Toni Morrison if I feel like I want to read more of her stuff, before I begin again with Beloved. Now, there are also 2 other books that I have here. Another one is Memoirs of Hadrian that I did not finish. Also for the same reasons, because I was actually reading this at the same time as Beloved. And this book was dense with historical details. It was kind of overwhelming, but at the same time I liked the tone. I was in fact enjoying this book, but for the same reasons I could not continue it, because if I just forced myself to read this book, it would be useless. It would be unfair to this book, and it would be a waste of time for me, because why would I use all of that time just to read something that I know I would enjoy some of the time, right? And then this is another one. This is The Wandering by Intan Paramadita. Also a wonderful, wonderful book. this is like a choose your own adventure kind of a stuff, and it's written in this really interesting and interactive way where you can just choose your own plot. So it's kind of like a collection of unlimited sets of short stories, basically. Again, same reasons. I thought this was really engaging. I loved the idea. I loved the political message that it's trying to deliver. It feels very close to me, but at the same time, it is just, I think this is something that you really need to take a lot of that. You really need that focus in order to really enjoy, really appreciate it. So these are the 3 books that I did not finish last time. But those are not the books that I DNF because I did not like them. One book that I DNF because I did not like it, this was something last year. It has been a while since I last actually DNF a book. And this one would be Boris Vian's Mood Indigo. I love surreal writings and description, but I thought Mood Indigo was a little bit too whimsical for my taste. It's like a lot of the surreal things happening in this book felt too much like the kind of whimsical, magical things that could happen in a Disney cartoon, with talking and dancing animals and stuff. I'm not sure if there were any talking animals in this book, but I think there were animals that sort of acted like quasi-human way. I'm not sure, but it was just a little bit too whimsical for me. I did not like it. Not for me. So number 4, what obscure work do you wish other people would read and why? I'm not really sure what really counts as obscure at this point. I'm just laughing because there's a cat. But yeah, obscure. There was one book that I read when I just began my booktube journey, and that was a book called The Last Quarter of the Moon by Zhijian. And that book was surprisingly a pleasant read. It is something like a family epic, but at the same time, it focuses a lot on the setting, basically the nature in which the story takes place in. So the book, it centers around this family, this large family, which includes the extended relatives of kind of like these nomadic people who live in the mountainous area in the northeast of China, near the Amur River. So basically they live in the Chinese side of the river, and on the other side it would be the Russian side. And so this novel details how this family just live in this area, and how as time passes people change, this family changed, but the nature where they find themselves in remains as some kind of something that is constant. And I thought there is something quite beautiful about how nature is written in this book, and how nature just has a certain relationship with people, and how this novel just kind of explores that also. How this novel explores the duality of nature, the beauty of it, and also the harshness of it. I thought that was really interesting. I've not heard a lot of people talking about this book, and I hope that, I don't know, maybe some of you guys will be interested in checking out this book and trying it out. So that is one book that I would definitely recommend. Next question. 5. What's the longest book you have ever read? And that would be Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina, which was something that I read when I was 17. And I'm already like 31 right now, so it's been a while since I last read a very long book. Certainly something that I hope to do later. I think in my most recent years, the longest book I've ever read would be something like A Little Life by by Hanya Yanagihara. But, that's not like the longest thing ever. It's just really thick. But, Anna Karenina was probably my longest book. I remember reading that book, a portion of it while I was going, while I was taking the train in Kuala Lumpur. And for those of you who have read that book, a train plays a particularly important role in one particular scene. So, for some reason in my head, I would always imagine the KL's KTM train to make an appearance in that book, which is really strange, especially at that particular scene. So, that's my memory of Anna Karenina. So, yeah. And also, another thing about that book, I did not expect that book would actually be a book of Anna Karenina and this other dude. This I think his name is called Leovin. I was surprised by that. I was surprised by how much Leovin was in that book. When that book's title is Anna Karenina, I was thinking, maybe the whole book would be about Anna, but yeah, half of that book was about Leovin. I was like kind of annoyed by that. Number 6. If you could have a dinner party with 5 fictional characters, who would they be? This kind of question has always stumped me because, for a long time I did not know why. But I think recently I just realized why. It's because I don't really like to have dinner with anyone that I don't know personally, and that includes fictional characters. Usually we would hear this kind of questions with what historical figures would you like to have dinner with, or which famous people you would like to have dinner with. For me, it would be like, none. I don't know these people. I don't want to have dinner with strangers. But yeah, so for this question, it's a bit tough, but I thought about it. But still, I couldn't think of 5 fictional characters. I could only think of one. That would make the most sense for, my dinner style or my disposition towards, dinner. And that would probably be Gabriel Oak from Far From the Madding Crowd. Because I think this guy is just really cool, and he's really polite, and yeah, it would be easy having dinner with this person without needing, without having the pressure of making small talk, because I think he would be kind of cool with just having dinner quietly, and then after that, done. So yeah, this person's kind of, yeah. Number 7. 5 books you'd want if stranded on a desert island. This is a really difficult question because I don't know if I would even want to bring 5 books to a stranded island. I mean, I like books, but I wouldn't want to bring any books. I would probably want to bring books that I don't want to read so that I could use them as Tinder. Which might be hinted at question number 9 later. Yeah, I would probably bring the books at question number 9 for question number 7. Okay, because I'm also not really a big rereader. One thing that I reread the most, which is like so far only 2 times, would be the Hearing Trumpet by Leonora Carrington, and I read that book in December last year, and I plan to reread that book in December again this year. So if you guys are interested in joining that, feel free to do so. Let me know. But I don't think I would even want to bring that book, because that book might get damaged if I were to be in a desert island. I assume that there won't be like a proper house on that desert island with proper utilities and amenities. So yeah, my book would probably get damaged. So yeah, I would probably bring useless books as Tinder. Which 5? Any 5. We'll talk about it in question number 9, right? Number 8. One book you could not put down. Yeah, I remember this year I read a book that was just really unputdownable, and that one was Valley of the Dolls by Jacqueline Suzanne. I just loved how pacey the story was. I love the amount of drama in that book. It was very fun to read. It was very interesting, but at the same time, I also thought that book said a lot of things in ways of commentary regarding position of women at that era. So yeah, that book was tons of fun, very wonderful. 5-star for me. It was something I could not put down. I only put it down because I get tired from reading quite frequently. But it was unputdownable in the sense that I was reading it on my way to school, when I was commuting. I was reading it when I was commuting back home. I was reading it in the toilet. I was reading it everywhere. Well, not literally everywhere, but I was also reading it in the shower sometimes. But yeah, that was how unputdownable that book was. If you have doubts about this book, whether you want to pick it up or not, but you have heard about its reputation, I would certainly say, yeah, don't listen to that. That book was good. It was good. Number 9. Okay, 5 books or authors you will never read. So I was thinking about this question, this prompt, for a while. After I saw this, this set of prompts, and I was thinking, which 5 books or authors that I really did not want to read. And there was some kind of authors that are overexposed or super popular or problematic that I could probably mention. But then I remember there is, in fact, something that I will definitely not want to read, that I would not want to touch. Okay, but I did say that I would probably want to bring these books to the desert island, as Tinder. So I would have to touch them, maybe with gloves. I don't know. But yeah, these books would be those. For those of you who may not know, in Malaysia, in bookstores, you could find these kinds of books sometimes sold in the non-fiction section of the store. And these books would be the conspiracy theory books that concern themselves mostly with world domination. Basically, not about how to dominate the world, but about how there are certain groups of people out there who are trying to dominate the world and dominate you and control you, and New World Order and Illuminati and stuff like that. And these books are usually they usually have a certain religious bent. They are anti-Semitic, they are anti-LGBTQ+, they are anti-West, they are anti-minority, and by minority I mean minorities in Malaysia. These books are stupid, they are dumb, but at the same time they are hateful. Sometimes when you hear about books being banned, you always want to say, banning books are not good, right? Banning books is not good. I wouldn't, if I were to be in charge, I would probably not ban these books as well, because I do believe that books, they are out there, you can make your choice. But if you want to ban something, maybe these books should be higher on your priority list, because these books are just way too stupid to exist, to be allowed to exist, But anyway, most of all, these books are just kind of, for me, it is harmful. They influence people to be hateful, and honestly, I don't like these. These books should just be made into Tinder on my desert island. Desert Island. I keep on jumbling that pronunciation. Desert Island. What? Maybe I would expect some banana split on the island. Number 10. If you were to write a book, what would it be about? It would probably be about something that I know. I'm not sure if I could write a book that is like a soap opera, well, not soap opera. I don't think I could write even a soap opera, because I don't think my life has been like really as melodramatic as what one could find in a soap opera. I won't be able to write something like a space opera, because I wouldn't know how it feels like to be in space. And I'm not sure if I have the imagination to compensate for that lack of experience. I don't think I can write historical fiction. I don't think I can write crime, thrillers and stuff. I would probably write about things that I know, like things that I've seen in my own life. Cats. I don't know. I'm not even sure if I could confidently write about cats. I think like I have to have a degree in, I don't know, cat biology to write a novel about cats. Yeah, but this is not to say that I don't think anyone who does not have a degree in cat biology should not write novel about cats, because y'all are probably like talented writers, so you could definitely do that novel. What else? I would probably write about myself. I don't know why I would want to write about myself. It's not really interesting. Yeah. How about food? I like food. I could probably write about food, maybe. I would probably write about that. Yeah, it's a difficult question, because you know, it will be like this question is sort of like a self-plug without anything to plug. Okay, now to be fair, this book doesn't say what would it, if you were to write a book well, it just says if you were to write a book. So the book doesn't have to be like well written or anything. So that means I could actually write about anything. I could even write about space opera with cats and food and myself. No. Anyway, yeah, that's my response for number 10. So finally, tag some people, and I have some interesting channels to tag. So Page Turners with Kacha, Heather Reads, Dead Lizard Reads, Sarah Roadworthy, and also Jenny Johnston. So no pressure to do this tag at all. But yeah, and also anyone else who is watching this video at this moment, you've reached this point, you are tagged also. I'm literally pointing at you now. Am I pointing correctly? Yeah, here, you. Yeah, so let me know what you are reading at this moment. You can also respond to these questions in the comments below, or better still, I hope that this would inspire you to start your own booktube channel, and this will be your first video. Yay, you are tagged, So yeah, I guess that's all for this video, and I'll see you again in a different one. So until then, take care, thanks for watching, and bye.